what do you think would be the most positive change that could be made in America to have the most effect for the most people within the workplace?
Wow.
Just a low, slow pitch there.
I wrote a book for young people years ago. It was called Bring Your A Game to Work. It taught the 7 fundamental values. It was all alliterated by the letter A. So rather than positive, it was attitude, and rather than professional, it was appearance. And what I'm trying to do is try to understand that kids in today's day and age are not taught how to work. We're so concerned whether the school in our neighborhood can compete against the school across the county line and the state line, that the only way to tell whether our schools are good or bad is whether or not that kid can fill out a corresponding bubble on a standardized achievement test. And I believe every kid in America needs to learn how to work. Now, I'm not just touting my curriculum, which I'm very proud is now in about 500 different schools. I'm touting that it's time to teach young people what work is really all about. I think that would make a huge difference. Give kids an opportunity to experience more of what life is really like at their side note. I'm presenting next week in up in Duluth, Minnesota, to a group of about 2,000 teenagers, 10th and 11th grade, who are all coming in from all sorts of schools around Duluth, Minnesota. They have 800 employers who have all put their money together and said, we want to keep the best talent here. And there's going to be an exposition and a fair that just, they want to keep talent there. If business and industry would quit being competitive and realize that a rising tide lifts all boats and say, we can help people make that school to work transition if we open their eyes and people don't do career days anymore. When does your kid go to a career day? No, because nobody wants to give up their time to go speak at a school and do so no, we don't do them. We just make sure the kid can fill out a bubble and we pass them on, thinking they're going to learn a code. They don't. So career education, Brian, I believe just teaching kids career education, giving them a chance to work, figure it out, that and making sure your kid leaves the house when they're 18, not 36. Okay.
Any parents in the room that are all for that one? Raise your hand. How would you define personal success, and what would you like your legacy to be?
Oh, geez. Boy, those are tough questions. I just hope someday when my families gather around, they say, he was a good guy and he made life better. So, you know, if, I mean, that's kind of sappy, but I don't know. I'd like people to think that I made an impact, that I brought some questions. If I didn't answer all the questions, I brought some questions up that people are talking about, you know, about what we're doing with young people and how we're preparing them for work and what we're doing, you know, flip the equation on its end and looking at our businesses and going, well, I've always seen it from my perspective, but if I stop and I look at it from this way and say, if I had me for a boss, would I enjoy coming to work? If we ask ourselves those questions, we're going to do a better job of creating the kind of companies and organizations that really ignite passion and inspire people to bring their best.
That's good. It's okay to be sappy, especially when it's truthful. Let's open questions to the audience. Nicole.
What was your biggest challenge personally through all your learning and everything through all this?
Nicole's question is, what has been your biggest challenge on a personal level?
What did you overcome?
The fear of writing a book. I mean, how many people say we're going to write a book? Do you know why you don't write it? Because writing books talking is easy. You know, this is just air. If you mess up a statistic and you can back up. When you write something down, somebody goes, you said it happened in 1982 and it was 37%. Let's verify that. It's like, it's exacting. And it's just, it's a really hard challenge for me to take my ADD craziness and sit down and do it. Thank God I've got an amazing sister who manages my business. Christy, she's in the back of the room, and she keeps me on task, on target, tries to keep me organized, and helps me propel them through. So my biggest challenge is overcoming my demons.
Question.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yes, Mark.
Eric, earlier Eric had his coat off when he was a high school coach, as we know, but he's also pretty fit for a guy who travels,
A lot.
So, speaking of work ethic and just trying to tie that into, practical, day-to-day and, some personal insights, how do you do that? How do you maintain your fitness when there's so many people who don't travel and have a hard time, keeping healthy?
So the question is, how do you balance fitness and your work life given all of your travel?
I'm just afraid to stop. You know, it's just, you think, we only have so much time here, and I want to be the guy that is just kicking the lid of the coffin when they're trying to close it on me. I want to have enough strength to be able to do that. So it's just this, whether it's driven by vanity or I married this woman who is just a cardio freak, and trying to keep up with her, just fearing like, God, someday she's going to go, you? So just try to stay. It's just a lot of motivation inside. Most of it probably fear-based motivation. Fear-based.
I don't know about you all, but I just think we came up with the name for the new book, Kicking the Lid of the Coffin. I mean, what do you think, a 5% royalty? You think it's worth that?
Yeah.
I love it. What are the questions we have? Any?
One back there.
Eric, can you tell me why most corporations why do they send out employee surveys that you can only hit one button? There's no place, it's either yes or no, or a scale of 1 to 5. How do you deliver the message that I'm not filling out your survey, you should give me a line for every comment? It's so ineffective, it's so lame when you have to fill out a survey and you don't really get to say, this is what I would suggest, this is what could be better.
So Christina's question is, why on surveys for employees they just give you one bubble or a yes or no selection versus giving more feedback?
Sometimes you don't ask the questions because you don't want the answers. It's the easiest way to find out. It's like, if all my people are going to fill this out and it comes back and they say some things that, we don't want to know that. So that might be one of the reasons. The other reason is it's data driven. It's a whole lot easier to look at a pie chart, to take the data that's yes, no, fill in and come back and say, here's where we're strong, here's where we're weak, let's finish it. But I think those instruments, and I'll put in a little plug, I just created an assessment based upon On Fire at Work. It's a 35 questions, 5 questions from each of those core values. And right now I'm just looking for some beta testers who want to just share it with their people. If you want to do that, talk to my sister or me, give us an email address. We won't charge you for a while. You can find out how you're doing and it is data. It's like yes, no, maybe, or whatever in the middle. Why? Because all we're trying to do is give you a diagnosis. Prescription prior to diagnosis is malpractice. We want to know where we're strong and where we're weak. Hopefully a good leader will turn around and go, wow, people really don't like their growth opportunities around here. Let's do a round table. Let's bring people in and figure out what they mean and get a chance. There's where we need to create our dialogue. Rather than let's open a can of worms and have everybody talk about a million things, let's focus where we really need our time. That's how I did mine. But I get it. They're hard to do. Fill in the blank. Let me give you a long-winded answer. A lot of people don't do that. And then a lot of people say things that the company just doesn't want to hear. That's my guess.
I want to be respectful of your time and get you out of here by 7 o'clock, so let's give Eric a round of applause.